lighthouse in the world. Most isolated lighthouse in the world. The name of this lighthouse is Thridrangaviti Lighthouse. It is also transliterated. I will first write you the original name. This letter is somehow odd. I hope that I write this right on Icelandic. And then transliterated is Thridrangaviti. It is one of the most impressive lighthouses in the world. It is an active lighthouse, 7.2 kilometers or 4.5 miles of the southwest coast of Iceland, in the archipelago of Vestmannaeyjar. So let me write this. Kilometers or 4.5 miles on the southwest coast of Iceland. Southwest in the archipelago of Westman. It is not easy to write this and even to pronounce. Now you can see where it is on this picture. It is often described as the most isolated lighthouse in the world, or as an introvert's heaven. Thridrangaviti Thridrangaviti or Thridrangar means three rock pillars, referring to the three named sea stacks at that location. Three rock pillars. First one is story Drangur. And it is weather. Then we have Pufu Drangur. And the third one is Clofa. Tranquil. The lighthouse stands on story Drangur. Now, before I erase this, let us see one photo of these three rock pillars. Now, beautiful sound of a razor. Only access to and from the lighthouse is by helicopter. While it may seem like the perfect hermits, monks, or heater of humankind's retreat, it is actually uninhabitable. Because of its isolated location, Thridrangaviti can only be accessed by helicopter. A helipad for helicopter access was added in the 1950s. And on this helipad, the maintenance team can land when they need to. But there are no guard rails, and and a strong gust could send someone into the cold Atlantic. Fortunately, the lighthouse is automated, and in 1993 solar panels have been installed to power the light. We have two interesting dates. 1950s. Helipad. For helicopters, and 1993 solar panels. While the Thridrangaviti lighthouse is uninhabitable, periodically it does need to be maintained. In July 2015, 6 workers were flown by helicopter to carry out maintenance work on the lighthouse. But if you would like to visit it, unfortunately, this is not exactly a developed tourist destination, and it is not possible to go there. The lonely lighthouse was built just before the outbreak of World War II, when Iceland was still a part of Denmark. Today, as I said, the only way on and off the pillar is via helicopter. But in 1939, when they built the lighthouse, there were no helicopters, because early helicopters were first developed later during the Second World War. Thridrangaviti Lighthouse was built during 1938 and 1939. And back then, everything had to be brought in by boat. Because of the high waves, delivering building materials was very dangerous. The ground was wet and slippery. Strong winds and heavy rainfall battered walkers. The construction team camped on the rock in between shifts. But even so, it still took 3 years to finish the lighthouse. It was originally built by hand without machinery, and it was accessible only by scaling the tallest of the three rock stacks, the Thridrangaviti. It was built under the direction of Arni Thridrangaviti, who recruited experienced mountaineers to scale the sea stack. Arni Thridrangaviti. The expert climbers were local Westman Highlanders who had long supplemented their diet by gathering seabird eggs from cliffs. This challenging endeavor included a sea swell at the base, even during calm weather, making departure from a boat onto the rock very tricky. And the vertical rock face had been worn smooth and was slippery. At the same time, the deadly cold and famously tempestuous North Atlantic Ocean thrashed below. With drills and hammers, the team inserted the spikes into the rock and connected them by chain. With each visit during calm weather, they were able to add a few more chain links, forming a twisting route upward. Their climbing tools did not allow them to bite into the rock near the top, and there were no handholds. So using the same technique developed for gathering seabird eggs, they made a three-person human stack. One man on his knees, a second on top of him, and the third one climbing on the second one for the final pitch. According to Thridrangaviti, the first thing they had to do was create a road up to the cliff. Then, and I will said what he said, we got together experienced mountaineers, all from the Westman Islands. Then we brought drills, hammers, chains and clamps to secure the chains. Once they got near the top, there was no way to get any grip on the rock. So one of them got down on his knees, the second stood on his back, and then the third climbed on top of the other two and was able to reach the nip of the cliff above. I cannot, said the Bavarian son, even tell you how I was feeling whilst witnessing this incredibly dangerous procedure. So that was the words of Arni Borarinsson, the director of the building team. According to the other person, author Philip K. Allen, the weather at the top was so windy, the workers could only stay there for a few hours at a time. Thus, it took 2 years to complete the house. According to another source, the crew also stayed on the rock in tents for a month during construction of the house. You can see from these two data, this one, in which we said the building lasted 3 years, and this statement of the Philip K. Allen that it was 2 years, that there are some differences in explanation on what was happening at that time, but mostly the information was correct. The house was completed around the start of Second World War, but the lighting equipment ordered from a Danish company could not be delivered because Denmark was then occupied by Germany. As a result, there was a delay of 3 years to install lighting equipment now supplied by Britain. Because of this, the lighthouse was commissioned on the 5th of July 1942. Now I will erase the board. Before I continue with the story, let us see one picture, one photo from the time when they built the house. I will try to put the photo inside this frame. Let me give you now some data or technical data from the lighthouse. The lighthouse building that you see on this picture is situated about 30 meters above the sea. It is 98 feet. The lighthouse consists of a single story with just a deck and a lamp on the roof. We can see this on that picture. The building is 4 meters square, concrete, whitewashed single-story hut. Or 13 feet, with a roof that resembles a battlement on a medieval castle tower, including embracer-like openings. And you can see this here on this picture. The red lantern sits on the roof and is also 4 meters or 13 feet high. The top of the rock pillar story drango is 36.5 meters or 120 feet above the sea level. The light is 34 meters or 112 feet above the sea. When we say the light, we mean the focal plane. And this height determines the height of sight, meaning that the light beam is first visible at sea level from 16.7 kilometers or 9 nautical miles from the lighthouse. The beam from flash followed by a short white flash every 30 seconds. And the lighthouse admiralty number is L 4802. Let me clean the board one more time. It's a very calming motion and a very calming sound when I use this eraser. I like it very much. Now let me tell you a couple of interesting things about the lighthouse. In 2009, a photo taken by Arnie Seberg. 2009. Arnie. Reached a global audience when Justin Bieber reposted it on the social media and increased its reach enormously. Justin. Bieber. Let us see this photo. Then we have Elsa, Sigurdardochter. Used the location of the lighthouse in her novel Why Did You Lie? And then also one interesting thing about the famous isolated lighthouse. On 5th of July 2020, on the 78th anniversary of the Lighthouse, the Icelandic blues rock band Kaleo recorded a video for their single Break My Baby. On Thridrangaviti's helipad. It was soon after the start of COVID, when the public was isolating and online interest in remote habitations was trending. On 5th February 2021, they released this video. And here we have a photo from this. As you can see, our most isolated lighthouse in the world has a very interesting story behind it. Thank you for watching this video. Good night and sleep.